Hello there, Sully here, the retired tanky anchor. Welcome to Three Chords and the Truth. Say, is it a time you hit that subscribe button? It's right down there somewhere. Down there somewhere. Hit it. All right, come on. What are you waiting for? What's stopping you? I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Come on, hit it already. Okay, as you know, I'm a longtime deadhead. I first discovered the band back in 1970, which was before lots of the heads today were even born. And I got to see Jerry and the boys live on quite a few occasions, which a lot of the younger heads, of course, never had the chance to. Now, regardless of the band, no band is as good or as bad as its number two, the rhythm guitarist, who adds counterpoint to the lead guitarist and is basically the quarterback of the band. It's the rhythm guitarist who seems to decide which direction to take. And if you can do that successfully and not have an ego about yourself, then your band is one of the great ones. And for the Grateful Dead, their number two was Bob Weir. So it's about time I did a bio tribute to Bobby, a legendary American musician, best known as a founding member of the Grateful Dead. Uh, People who are outside the head community, the Deadhead community, might say, "Oh yeah, they're the psychedelic jam band." Well, they pretty much invented the idea of jam band. Okay, now those people from the outside might look at it and say, well, it's all chaos and anarchy, a massive tie-dyed spiritual confusion. But all heads know it's not tie-dyed spiritual confusion. Uh, they never had a boilerplate as to what a concert would be like, and their influences were as varied as the places they played. The band members came from folk, bluegrass, country, rock, blues, rhythm and blues, marching bands, avant-garde classical, ambient electronic, and even traditional classical. It was Sammy Hagar who once said, if you don't have an ego, you can be the best number two in the world. And he was specifically talking about his good friend and his neighbor, Bob Weir. Bob Weir was born on October 16th, 1947. His full name, Robert Hall Weir. He was born in San Francisco and he was adopted at birth, and his adoptive parents raised him in the Bay Area. He had an older adopted brother, John, and a younger sister who was the natural child of his parents, Wendy. He was about 16 years old. It was on New Year's Eve, 1963, going into 1964, when he and his friends wanted to go out and find some music. And they were in the Palo Alto area, and they found themselves at the back door of Dana Morgan Music, where they heard banjo music playing. So they knocked on the door, and this fellow named Jerry Garcia answered the door and said, "What do you guys want?" He says, "Well, we heard you playing, and we want to know if we could come in and listen for a while." He says, "You guys play?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, come on in. We'll grab some instruments from the front of the store, and maybe we'll jam." They played all night. They decided to form a band. The jug band was called Mother McCree's Uptown Jug Champions, and featured a few other friends. That band eventually switched to rock and roll and became the Warlocks, and the Warlocks eventually changed their name to the Grateful Dead. The reason being there was another band in the Bay Area called the Warlocks. That band sort of had the same idea, though. They changed their name to Velvet Underground. But Bob Weir was rhythm guitarist and one of the vocalists for the Dead, and Jerry Garcia got most of the lead guitar glory. Weir's rhythm playing was anything but background noise. His style was complex, jazz influence, and full of unusual chord voicings that helped give the Dead their unique sound. It was after hearing McCoy Tyner playing counterpoint for John Coltrane that Weir decided that that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be the McCoy Tyner to Jerry Garcia's John Coltrane. Now, as we all know, the Grateful Dead never played a song the same way twice, nor did they ever repeat a song on consecutive nights. That was just their philosophy. Now, Weir co-wrote uh, some of the fan favorite songs like Sugar Magnolia, Truckin', Estimated Profit, Playing in the Band, and of course, One More Saturday Night. Uh, One More Saturday Night is usually played at Saturday night shows. I did see them play one Saturday night show, and that was the closing number. Now, after Garcia's death in 1995, the Grateful Dead disbanded, but Weir decided he was going to remain active. He formed a band, which I got to see once, called Rat Dog. More blues and jazz leanings, and then a little bit more acoustic, too. He played with various Grateful Dead reincarnations, like the other ones, the Dead, and most recently, of course, Dead and Company, with John Mayer, Jeff Chimeni, Oteil Burbridge, Jay Lane, and Mickey Hart. He's something of a Renaissance Deadhead these days. I mean, he's done orchestral collaborations, solo acoustic shows, and even starred in his own documentary about 10 years ago. It was called the other one, The Long Strange Trip of Bob Weir, which is available on Netflix. You might want to watch it. Now, after the passing of his adoptive parents, Weir became curious about his birth parents, which I guess many adopted kids do that. And, his birth mother did actually contact him through the band. She was in poor health. He graciously helped her out until her passing. And he also used a private detective to locate his birth father, a fellow by the name of Jack Parker, who was unaware that he had another child. And now it turns out that Weir had a brother who had passed away by this time, but he was a guitarist, and they found his old Fender Telecaster up in the attic, and it was beat to hell, and Weir took it, gave it to his luthier, and became playable again. And he has used it on stage a few times. And Weir and Parber did remain close until Parber's passing. Now, Bobby is also a bit of a fitness nut. This goes back to his days in the Dead when he would bring a yoga instructor along on the tour, and of course, he was seldom without his bicycle. Now, during the later Dead and Company tours, the band often played, of course, MLB or an NFL facility. The team trainers graciously allowed Weir and his trainer access to the training facilities. And you could also see Weir tossing a football around before the sound check. That's not really strange. He was a quarterback in high school, third string quarterback. He said his job was to warm up the receivers. His primary position was middle linebacker, which, when you look at his build, he doesn't exactly look like a middle linebacker. But that says something for his durability, his physical conditioning. These days, he does play flag football with his friends. His team, the Tamalpais Chiefs. I don't know if he's still doing it. He's like almost 78 years old now, but I wouldn't doubt it. But you just want to sum it up. He is the eternally groovy glue of the Grateful Dead, not just the rhythm guitarist, but the rhythm of an entire generation's long strange trip. Which brings us to today's song, Only a River. It's a hauntingly beautiful song, which Weir released back in 2016 on his solo album Blue Mountain. Uh, it was his first solo record in over 40 years, and all I hope is that I can do it justice. And I'll talk a little bit more after you listen to this.
Because of time, and I never saw the ocean. I was close to your age now. Oh, Shenandoah, long to see you. See you. Hey, hey, only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Savage yellow. The ground is hard and the county's dry. But I'm gonna get my fill somehow. The river's calling, heat and ride. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 only the river's gonna make things right. Only the river's gonna make things right. Only the river's gonna make things right. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 only the river's gonna make things right. Only the river's gonna make things right. Only the river's gonna make things right. Oh, red, red river valley. She remembered all the things we said. And once the chance she'll remember all those nights in the riverbed. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 only the river's gonna make things right. 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 Only the river's gonna make things right.
Okay, a little bit about the song. Josh Ritter originally wrote the song and gave it to Weir to put some polish on. And when you listen to it, it's almost autobiographical for Weir because you have to remember that as a teenager, he would spend his summers on a Wyoming ranch working as a cowboy, and lots of kids his age were just playing cowboy. Um, and the song, since it came out on Blue Mountain, has been covered by Bob Dylan. So I hope you liked my take on it. My bio tribute to a guy who probably played more live shows than any other rocker from the 60s, probably anyone ever. He's always been one of my favorites, and he's currently in a second residency of Dead and Company at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now, of course, I'm a poor person and I'm on a fixed income, so I won't get to go out there. But since the band has officially made their final tour, I was lucky enough to catch them on the final tour when they came through Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. I actually saw them there 3 times. And, you know, I did see Rat Dog once too. That was at Penn's Landing when they used to have a festival called Jam on the River. But anyway, I digress. For three chords and the truth, I'm Sully, the retired tanker yanker. Safe and happy travels, everybody.